I told you guys that I had a twin brother. We lived together for a number of years, and it wasn't discussed, but I would prepare the breakfast, the lunch, the dinner. I do the cleaning. And then one day I said, hold on. I'm not your wife. I'm not your mama. I said, I'm not doing none of this no more. And my brother said, huh? What? Why? I said, no. And I called my mom and my dad. I said, I'm not doing no more. They said, what's wrong? I said, what's wrong? Why do I have to do this? And so when I tell you, I didn't know my brother could cook. But yes, it was just a light bulb went off. I said, hold on. I'm not doing it no more.
I understand.
Yeah. So we got some people up here to ask you guys questions, and I just want to lay out the rules. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about women, not men. So no one's going to be talking about men. We talk about men next month, right? So your question should be very specific to this distinguished guest about your question around women. You were here first, Leanne. You want to go first? Oh, you got to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, I was. But my question made venture on men. It's about the conversation. It was a statistic that was given earlier. I just wanted to, I guess I'm a data person. So I just want to understand the number more. And also clarifying that my mom was a mental health worker, so I grew up around this, right? Mm-hmm. So very normal to me. Mm-hmm. Most of her clients were men at the Salvation Army, right? So when I heard that women, I do. I understand. I can believe that. I understand all day. Women will go seek therapy because we'll go take our kids. We'll go take everybody. Everybody got to go to therapy.
Yes.
But the statistic that women are more diagnosed more with this versus men, is it that, or is it because women go and they go get the help? The diagnosis is reported because you have more men committing suicide, and that was also mentioned. So I just want to get clarification on that because it's like I said, it's a data thing. More men are killing themselves.
Okay.
So is it just they're not getting diagnosed like women?
So let me read the stat.
Is it more of a society problem?
Yeah, the stat, if you're talking about what I read, it said 26.4% of women reported having a mental illness in 2022 compared to 19.7%. So maybe to your point, and they can answer, it's because they're going in proactively. You need the data. You need people to go in, and that data is being recorded. And now you can say, okay, survey-wise, there are more women coming in. But maybe that doesn't necessarily mean that men don't need it more or less. It's just there's more women coming in proactively, possibly. I don't know. What do you think, you guys?
I would add that I think that it's sometimes they're not getting help, but also I think they don't perceive it as the same thing. So like a woman, maybe they feel sad, lonely, isolated. A man might say that they're irritable, angry, lashing out. Maybe they use substances more often, have more substance abuse problems, things like that. So they would definitely benefit from the help, but they don't necessarily attribute it to that. They're, at least my understanding from reading the literature, is that it's a combination of a bunch of factors, like that their age, their profession, all of these different things. So I think that they need it. They need the help. And I would venture to guess that there actually aren't that many differences. If we really looked at what maybe, I would think they're closer because those two data points that you just talked about, they don't make sense. So somewhere they were missing something in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dr. G, okay?
I'm a data person for a living, so like the numbers, I was like, it's like substance abuse. I forgot about that part. So there's more of this here. Does it mean there may be still some things that aren't diagnosed? It's just it's anger and it's getting written off that way versus. Yes. And it's not to bash women or men. I just don't want women to feel like, oh, we are more mental. Because you remember back, what is it, the 50s and 40s?
Yeah.
All women were crazy. And they locked us up, like, just because. And I would be afraid of that notion coming up again. And then people taking agency over us as women and just start locking us up.
It says mental health conditions. So I think there's an assumption that the women are more prone to mental health conditions. So that must be broad statement in all the different factors that we're talking about. What were you going to say, Dr. GOK?
Yeah, you hit it spot on with the data collection and being a data person, because people pay attention to statistical data. And I agree with Dr. Heather, but let me give you the three terms that really is the answer to this. Most often, men are underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed, and not treated, untreated. So those are the three elements that makes the difference in that statistical data. And we want to be clear about that.
Okay. Did you have something shifting, or we can go to the next question?
I was just going to say also, I don't know what they include in that definition. So we have so many different mental health conditions. We have with depression, anxiety, eating disorders. We have personality disorders that like narcissism, antisocial personality disorder. We have schizophrenia. We have schizoaffective disorder. We have all the psychotic disorders. We have bipolar disorder. There are no differences between those other disorders. Schizophrenia rates, bipolar rates, all of those severe mental illness, they're considered under that umbrella. Those are the same between men and women.
Okay, that's great. And there's a question that come up in my head. I don't want to forget it, but I don't want to be selfish and ask the question. But I'm going to let Rodney go next. Rodney, you got to unmute yourself. Okay. Rodney, going once, going twice, going three times a lady. All right. Mr. Knight, you want to go next? And you're unmuted, so you can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hello.
Hello.
I just want to bring to light a statement, and then I'll ask your opinion about it. I think there's a stigma, and that's racial, that's cultural, as far as people of color. When one of you were talking about it's expected of me to cook and clean and do all these things, it's traditional. You didn't say it in a negative way. You said it's just the way my grandmother and my aunt and so forth do. But underneath that, I think that culturally we're missing something. There's been a shift and an evolution that's happened where, I'll give you an example. There's a cookbook being done in Minnesota amongst the chefs, all the professional athletics chefs. There were no women. Out of all the teams, basketball, football, hockey, soccer, women's teams, there were no women chefs at all. They're all men. In the same vein, so I want you to think about that and comment about that, but in the same vein, when I came to New York, I'm in New York, and I started dating a couple people, and I said, hey, I like you. Why don't we take this thing to the next level? And their response to me was, I'm not interested in that. I'm living.
Good for them.
I'm having fun. I got a career. So there's a shift amongst the men and women. So I'm asking you, what do you think about that shift? And can you acknowledge it? And I think we're missing it because things aren't the same 10 years, 15 years than they are today.
But what does that have to do with mental health, though, is the question I like to know.
I've been taking notes at the comments that have been coming up. So I saved this one from what was presented, which was that the expectation, again, of women to do all these things and take all these roles to work and cook and clean. And I'm saying, just like you stated, I'm saying that I don't see that to be true anymore. And I want to know if you can see that and explain to me what's happening.
I think Dr. GLK hit on it when she said, because when I said that, she said it's just the pressures have shifted to other places now. That's all. The pressures are not like Dr. Heather, I think it was you that said it, 1950s, maybe it was different. Yeah, the pressures were managing the home. And then when it came to the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they went out and worked and still had to manage the home. And then now everyone's working from home and hybrid, and men have had to change their role. And so now the women's pressures have shifted in other directions. There's still pressures there we don't really know about. That's why we're here as men also trying to learn, but it's shifted. And I think that's how you responded to me to that, right, Dr. GOK?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I guess for me, I was just looking for, because I have a son, he's 16, he just started dating as well. I'm having this conversation, and I just don't feel like I'm educated or experienced enough or knowledgeable enough. I don't know, to meet him where he's at, to explain this shift that's happening to him. And so I guess that's why I reiterated.
I think it's important, Mr. Knight, you present an excellent question, a very valid question. I think it's important to pay attention to what that shift looked like in different spaces and places. Because when you think about a shift, the shift is contributory based upon your background. Your background and your upbringing may look different than mine or the next person's. And so you want to pay attention and be very conscientious of when that shift happens, what it looks like, and be multi-talented. You know, once upon a time, the roles were very traditional, black and white, very traditional. We knew exactly what time dinner was going to be, what time we got home on time. But now all of that has shifted. When you leave work, you're going on to the next obligation. You're going on to by the time you get home, it's time to take a shower and go to bed. And so now when you're balancing those roles, those gender roles in your household, you have to be very prepared for that balance. And a lot of men and women aren't prepared. And so you pay attention to those roles and the shift, and then you prepare yourself. I've got 3 P's: plan, prepare, and process. And if you execute those 3 P's in your place, then it's conducive for everyone. It's a holistic perspective that you're able to meet people right where they are in their household, and particularly women, because women are the matriarchs of their household. Women are the strength, the backbone, the resiliency, the problem solvers of the household. We wear many hats to make sure that we balance men in a way that they can go out and function in a very productive manner.
Dr. GOK, my wife's on the panel. I don't want to hearing all that. Okay, you're making my life tough. Okay, we didn't agree to this partnership. Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
You have a comment? Go ahead, shifting, and then we're going to have Praise ask her question.
Yeah, I was going to speak to Mr. Knight Kine. I was going to say what's important as an individual to pay attention to the era that we're in. Pay attention to the eras that once were and what was going on during those eras. It would be a little interesting if, like, tonight would not be happening back in the 30s and 40s and 50s. That's right. In the 70s and 80s, I would probably be in bed at 5 o'clock because dinner was at 2 or 3, and no questions asked. But today, I can call my mom or dad, and they're maybe watching television. My dad may be reading the newspaper still. Now, there are some people who are stuck in certain eras. There are other people who are afraid of technology. So this would be very foreign. So when you're thinking about mental health awareness in the era that we're in, you want to pay attention to the era, because mental health then is not what mental health looks like today. And I'm not a doctor in this field, but I pay attention to the changes in history. So I would not expect how my parents and my aunts and uncles lived back then to live today. I would absolutely say, "What? Are you okay? Everything all right?" So, yes.
And to your point, real quick, working in a corporate environment and working for a company that is very forward thinking, I still see, to your point, as you said, that women who have to have the challenge of, okay, I want to move up to the next role. But the person that I'm going to be reporting to, do they respect that I have kids and I got to get home at a decent time? Because when they hire a man, they're not worried about that. But when they hire a woman, back in their mind, they're thinking about that. And that's where the added new pressures still arise for women that men don't have to deal with mentally. Praise, you have a question?
Yes, I do. I want to first thank this esteemed panel for all of their valuable information that they have shared with us tonight. And thank you, gentlemen, for hosting. We appreciate everything, all of your acts of love and kindness. Dr. GLK, you spoke earlier about knowing when you are in the red zone. I want to ask a question. What are some tools that you can use as a seasoned woman that many of these issues attributed to hormones, they are attributed from hormones, and they cause mental health, anxiety, depression, mood swings, and more. I know that I use prayer as one of mine, But when you talk about the red zone, what are some active tools that you can approach at home that you may not have to go see a therapist? Because a hormone replacement is not an option for somebody like me because I am a cancer survivor. What are some tools that we can use when we attribute the hormonal imbalance, and we can be really cray-cray?
So,
Because you got me right.
yeah, I got you, Praise, and thank you so much for that great question. There are several interventions that you can put in place before you get to the therapist opportunity. You can do journaling, you can do meditation. If you're connected with a faith-based organization, you can be heavily involved in the activities within that organization and facility. You can keep your mind occupied in a very productive way that will reduce that anxiety, reduce that stress, and reconnect you back to things that brings you pleasure. That's the whole premise of it, is that when people are overwhelmed and burdened, they disconnect from those things that brought them pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you. Those tools are amazing.
That was a great response. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Dr. Heather? Or I saw you come off mute. That's what I was asking.
Oh, no, I would totally agree. There's a ton of different thing. I noticed in the chat, someone said exercise. I would say that being in nature, doing grounding work, which is like really where you just focus on being right here, right now, in the present, connected to the earth, like standing in the grass, just being there, just just being here in that moment, getting out of your head and being focused on like right here. I think it's 4 things you smell, 3 things you taste, 2 things you, and then but it keeps you right here, like in today, right now, and not ruminating about all the things that you've got to do when you get home, or worrying about all these other things, or, oh my God, I can't handle the temperature, whatever. Because that's all I would just add on to that, because there's absolutely a ton of things you can do.
That's an excellent point, Dr. Heather. And I'm at a point right now in my life where I'm at a spiritual center, and everything's about peace. So I'm holding on to my peace, and I'm fighting the outside world to sustain that peace. And I think that when we talk about the mental health and all the things that people are going through, it's a lot that is in their head, and there's a lot that's happening around them. But you got to go within and center yourself to focus on that inner peace. Like Dr. Heather said, Dr. GLK Shifton mentioned, it's at a point that you have to focus on yourself, for yourself, and to protect yourself. And stop listening to all that outside noises that is surrounding you and often penetrating you and affecting your life.
Yeah. And I almost would love to have another conversation like this again, because as you guys are talking, I start thinking through the growth of our lives. Again, I'll say it again. I know I look like I'm 20, but I'm really 52 years old. I know. Don't worry about it. But the fact is this: mental health and the issues with that, especially in a relationship with a woman, and I have a very strong woman. Not all women are built the same way. Their culture, how they grew up, whether they grew up with 2 parents, 1 parent, you having to be more independent, things like that. All those things factor into mental health and how you deal with people and things. Absolutely. And I think as we get older, it's almost like we need to just clean ourselves out and start over, take everything out and replace new things like you guys are saying right now, these mental health things, because the brain was here needs to just be cleansed so that we can enjoy nature, so we can retransform how we look at life, especially when you're with somebody, right? So it's amazing how complicated this can be if you're not doing the right work to fix that. And I'm not talking about men, I'm just really talking about women and being in a relationship with women and going through this mental journey. We got one more question with Rodney. He's the last one didn't ask, and then we can take some more questions from you guys on the panel. Rodney, are you ready? Your mic's on. Rodney's a very close friend of mine. So when you see me play with Rodney, don't get offended, because Rodney was sitting up here and he decided to go wash some dishes. He decided to go wash some dishes in between our live. Don't do that again.
I was packing my bag.
Dishes matter.
No, I can't wait till you go live. I'm going to turn on my camera. I'm going to be in the bathroom. Okay? Handling business. I can't wait. Go ahead, ask your question.
It's funny. I just want to compliment the ladies. I give this to you, D'Angelo and DE Wilder. When I think that your life can't get any better, you always taking it to another level week after
Thank you,
week
bro.
after week
Thank you,
after
brother.
week.
Thank you so much.
And you ladies are phenomenal tonight. And I give you guys some props. And I know Night Kind talked about the shift. And to me, my thing is more of a comment than of a question because I feel what all the ladies are saying on the panel. I grew up with a mom. I had a family of, there were 15 of us. And my mom she was everything. My father was there, but he wasn't really there. But I think what has happened, I keep hearing that sound, emancipate yourself and mental slavery. And that's what women have been doing for years because men use the tool of I'm the breadwinner. They use that notion that I'm bringing the money home and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And the females stayed at home and they're, in most cases, not all, they had to depend on the man, and then the man would treat them like they were properties. But women woke up. They woke up.
Yep.
They empowered themselves. They went
Yep.
to school. That's the shift he's talking about. The
Yep.
women are no longer staying in the background.
That's
And
right.
now you go into colleges, 95% of the graduation class are females.
Yep.
And women are in power and they're empowered and they have become liberated and they're independent for all the right reasons. So my question is though, and this is something that I know women need, they need a community. Yeah. They need to, no man is an island. And sometimes women go through things silently and they suffer. How could you help someone they can't seem to get to that point where they know something is wrong, but they don't have the ability to lift themselves up and say, you know what, and they're scared. I was listening to this podcast on Brian Taylor Green, and this young lady, she married this football guy in school. They had a kid. He used to abuse her, but she said nothing until he killed her. It was too late. And this was a young lady. So how can we, as men, how can we help the female who we know that they're going through, but they need that lift. They need to be able to be transported from where they are and to be catapulted to some place where they're safe and they're secure. Because some people still have that mentality, that abusive mentality. Some people still have that mentality, but, oh, I deserve this, or maybe this is the way to show love. How can we help, or how can help a sister out of those situations? That's my question.
And you want to comment on that? Before you do, real quick, just so you guys know where we are, we're at 11:27. Like I said, we usually do 11:30. Sometimes we go to 12. I want to know, respectfully, you guys okay for another 20 minutes or so? And before it hits 12 type situation? Okay, just want to be mindful. And quick commercial, we're at 51K. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for all the gifts. Make sure you're connecting with everybody on here. They're all high engagers. They all are live hosts. I think most of you are, right? Yes. I don't know if you are, Leon. Are you a live host? Yes. Everyone on here is live host. So make sure you connect with everyone on here. They have great lives. And let's keep it moving. You guys are going to answer a question. Go ahead, Shifty.
I was just going to say that the average person has over 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And that breaks down to 2,500 to 3,000 thoughts per hour. So with that in mind, whether a person says they're okay or if they say they're not okay, check in on one another.
That's right.
And it can be as simple as, hey, I'm just calling to check in on you. Are you all right? And if you say you're all right, I'm going to ask you, tell me why. Because sometimes we'll leave it at, I'm okay. And the next thing you know, something happens and you say, they told me they were all right. And I think asking the question, how are you? I don't ask that anymore because it becomes you guys know the word I'm trying to think of. It just seems
more or less a rhetorical question.
Yes.
Yep.
How are you? I'm good. Okay. What? Mm-hmm. But if you truly mean it, give me a follow-up question. Give me a follow-up question. Just checking. I would say just knowing that thousands of thoughts are going through a person's mind in any given hour. Just if you have the time or the capacity to just check in on them.
Yep. How would you ask, let's say, a woman who's not so willing to share what's going on in them? Maybe they're more tough-skinned. They don't feel comfortable like sharing. Like, how would you open them up? What would you want to be said, you guys?
Sometimes the greatest words are often unspoken. So write a letter, send a postcard, Those are still around. A drawing, something creative or outside of the box of how we normally may communicate with one another. Sending a random gift of something that they truly enjoy. Ways to check in on someone without using words.
And I think you said it when you started. You said check in on them often. Checking on often, that means you're connecting with them and you're feeling their energy. And over time and after time, you'll realize, you'll know something's not right.
And I think it's important too, when you're checking in, is to be very transparent in checking in. Don't beat around the bush. I see you're acting different because notice that you are sleeping more. I notice that you're not going bowling. You're not hanging with your friends. You're not seeing your family like you used to. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That was really good.
Feel that when you bring up things in that nature and in that way, it's confrontational. But sometimes it's called tough love, and you have to hit it head on. You have to bring it out of the individual.
And I added another term to tough love, an adjective, tough, compassionate love.
There we go. That's right.
Wow.
Okay. If I can just add, if I could just jump in, I'm no professional, but I let the Lord lead me.
Human.
I let the Lord lead me in everything I do, and I have the calling to counsel and spiritual advice. Okay, let's leave that there. But I have this one particular person that I'm assigned to. I give her space. I give everybody space. And when I don't hear from you after a certain amount of time, I may just drop you a text message, and it's going to say, check in. It's a safe place. And once they get that message, they'll call me, and then they'll just unload.
Very good.
And I'll be like, okay, I felt you in the spirit. I want you to know I've been praying for you, but I'm here. What we got to do? We got to do our day one all over again. That's how I encourage people. It's a safe space.
Let me read some of the comments. That's great.
That's a beautiful point you made.
So some of the comments in the chat around this right now. Let's see here. Poetic says, I don't know why you said that. I know now. I wonder why I feel nuts. What you mean by that? Why you feel nuts? Okay.
Who said that? Who said that?
Poetic RN. Guess from last week.
Where is she at? She was supposed to come up.
She's in a place that's loud. We'll catch her the next time. She's in a place that's loud. Okay, and then we also have I am Lisa saying, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it when asking. Yep.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
It is.
Yep. And do I miss anybody else? I don't think so on this particular area. Before we go back to you, Leanne, did you have a question? Were you waiting? Or I can go to the next person. You ought to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yes, it's Lainey. Yes. So
Lainey, sorry.
Well, it was regarding like working from home. I've been working from home since 2013.
Wow.
And I curated my life. I've been sick a lot, so I've somehow created that so that I could be able to do that. And of course, since the pandemic, that changed where now everybody works from home. So it's a little different. I ended up working for this company. I probably stayed 3 years longer than I should have. I went through a lot of macro and micro aggression by my manager. And it broke me down, and it broke down my spirit. This summer, I became so sick that I was off work for close to 6 months. I couldn't walk. I couldn't see. Like, my whole body shut down. I literally thought I was going to be disabled for the rest of my life. I started having a neuropathy problem. And the thing, I guess, is when I first logged in and I heard you guys, I was like, you guys are going to make me cry. And we just rolled back into that subject, right, of the checking in. Because I've just been the strong one in the family, my friends, no matter what. We're talking about, I'm a child of abuse. I've been in and out of foster care. I was a teenage mother. But yet I got 3 degrees. I've done all this stuff where people think these acclimates are great, but they don't understand. There's still the stress that comes with that. I talking about running a household and having a husband. I don't have a husband. So I've been running a household with a child all my life by myself. I had to take care of my alcoholic mother. So I'm always doing. And this summer, I had my daughter staying with me with her 3 kids. They just got a relationship. I had my aunt staying with me. And then I had a butt head of a manager, very racist. And my body just said, nope, I'm done. My whole body, like my spirit wasn't going to die. My spirit wasn't going to die. But my body was like, I'm done. We ready to go. I felt like I was dying. And So that's what I amounted to. I amounted to my body dying, but my spirit wasn't ready. By the grace of God, I'm here. I'm walking. I'm able. It's a total turnaround. And when I say that we thought, like, I got a permanent handicap sticker, like we literally thought I was ready to apply for Social Security disability.
How did you come out of that dark space?
And yeah, so I didn't have anyone checking up. I didn't have anyone, what's going on. And I was tired and I was drained. And I have a girlfriend that I grew up with. I don't know what made her finally call. We now talk more often because I go years without talking to my friends. And I would call some friends and you hear it in my voice, but no one would say anything. And she finally called. She was like, "You're going to get better. You're going to get through this." And it was just the fact that she was like, she was checking on me. I don't know what made her check on me. I to this day don't know. But she did. And because she doesn't check me often. And the fact that she's known that I've been sick all this time, and now it was just a lot. It wasn't like all the other people that are in my life. It was just something different about where she checked in. I can't say that was it, but I know after that call is where I tried to make more changes, trying to move around more, trying to get out of whatever that was, trying to exercise, trying to move more, that's what it was. Okay, so I'm missing it. So she just happened to call to check in. When she called to check in, I was hospitalized for the 5th time that year. And this time I had passed out. They mixed up my blood vial. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother line. But they mixed up my blood vial with somebody else's. I got a blood transfusion I wasn't supposed to get. But no, I needed that blood. And I didn't need it because I didn't need the extra volume of blood. But I needed some immunoglobulins. And I was fighting with my doctors to get them because all the research was telling me that I needed it. They were like, we need to do more tests, which cost, I could have had the immunoglobulins have been okay. So getting that blood transfusion actually gave me partly what I needed for my body to start to repair itself. First, extra blood, that's a whole nother story. I still had to overcome that. And at the same time, that's when my friend Shannon called and she just like checking on me. I don't know what made her check on me, but obviously with something in my voice and my spirit, she did not. I have friends that I talk to all the time, and even my daughter, they're just so used to me being sick. It was nothing to that. To her, it was like, I don't like this.
So are you contributing her coming in to support you, helping you get through that, having someone that you can confide in? Is that what you're trying to say?
Not someone to confide in, but someone that genuinely was like, worried and concerned, and didn't want to see you there. Because like I said, I have like my other best friends that I talk to every day. It's okay, you're sick again. Oh, it was someone that was genuinely like, no, I don't like this space you're in. And I say that because you could be sad and depressed all the time. You could be diagnosed with mental illness. If your friends are used to that, they're just like, that's her. That's her. Right. Versus someone saying, I don't like that space you're in.
And even though they can't help you fix the situation, even though they can't actually help you fix the situation, it's not showing sympathy, more showing empathy and being there, being a listening ear and things like that. I definitely understand what you're saying. Knight, did you have a question that we're going to go to the panel to ask? Did you guys have a response for her to that? Our special panelist.
That's what I was going to ask the panel. Hearing her ordeal, did you have any suggestions and tools that can help her along the way? We all need tools and things that you can shore up on to help us with getting through the day.
I guess I would just re-emphasize my earlier statement is self-awareness, self-reflection. No one knows you better than you know yourself. When you are in a struggle, you know when things feel different in your space. And so if you don't get that check-in, then you have to check in with yourself.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I quit that job. That's true. I quit that job in a market. There's no jobs. But I can't do this anymore.
I hear you.
That started your healing journey.
Oh, I quit I started getting the blood transfusion in December. I quit my job in February.
Good for you.
Right. We're at 20 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get some more questions pop in. I think, Knight, did you have a question before we go to Gwen? Gwen's new on the panel, so we want to make sure to go to her.
Knight is flashing on you. Let
All
him
right,
in.
go
Let him in.
go ahead.
Okay, I'm the nurturer of my family, even more so than my wife. And so I have all those special meetings and conversations with my kids. I want to ask you, how do I prepare my daughter and my son for today and tomorrow? What do I say to them? Because I want to say to my daughter, right? I want to say, you don't need no man. You don't need nothing from the man. You can do it all yourself. You better keep him in check. And if he ever look at you crazy, blah, blah, blah. I want to tell my son, what is she bringing to the table? What is she, once again, with the evolution of what's happened, what are you saying? How are you preparing the next generation for to be kind and compassionate and a partner with working together with someone? How do you do that and protecting them at the same time?
So who wants to tackle that first?
First, I want to say, Mr. Knight, thank you for that question. By you asking that question, it shows how concerned and how caring you are for your children. Thank you for that question.
I would say yeah, thank you. Yeah, I totally agree. That was a very valid, powerful question. And what I would offer to you is to concentrate on the children as individuals, building their confidence, building their self esteem, making sure that they are pouring into themselves, making sure that they have self love, they're prioritizing their self care, working on them being better people, showing up as the best versions of themselves, because they will gravitate to that positive energy. And so when you know who you are and whose you are, then you're able to function and meet people right where they are, and you will know whether or not that person is compatible for you. In the world that we live in, people look for companionship. And so we want to be realist about dating. We want to be realist about companionship. And so when we focus on ourselves, because that's the person we can control, is us.
Right.
And so when they're, yes, when they're out dating and they're meeting other people, then they are assessing whether or not that person is complementary to where they are. They're showing up whole, not broken. And so you are establishing that platform for them to be able to entertain the thought of dating, but dating in a very effective, productive manner. Somebody that's going to be conducive to their healthy growth.
I would say, so I've worked with young people from pre-K up to high school seniors for about 9 years. And one thing I would say that strikes me when it comes to the younger generation or children, your children's age, is they want to know that they are heard. They want to know that how they're thinking is being heard.
Yes.
No matter what you say to them, no matter how you try to say it to them, at the end of the day, at the start of the day, do you hear what I am saying? And it's not that they are being disrespectful. It's not that they don't see you as their parent or their guardian. They truly want to make sure that you hear them. And sometimes it's a matter of hearing them and understanding what they're not saying and filling in the gap.
Right.
Because sometimes and I'm no parent, right? However, when I was growing up, one thing that my parents allowed my twin brother and I to do is experience life from our lenses. And making sure that they still provided the proper guidelines and boundaries and things like that, so that we're not harming ourselves or doing anything that would look silly. But nonetheless, we were allowed to pretty much do anything that we put our minds to, as long as it was in its proper place. Right. Now, in the society that we live in today, there's technology. We didn't have that. We had, I think, the MacBooks with the colorful backs. We had that. And so, as parents in this day and time, you have a different viewpoint. Yeah. If technology is where your children are right now, see how you can come alongside of them with technology instead of making them feel bad about always being on their phone or maybe being behind a video game, or when you're at the dinner table or out at a restaurant, they're constantly looking down at the phone. Say, hey, your dad is on social media too. Your dad is doing the daggone thing as well.
Exactly.
It's really just allowing your children to see that, hey, even though my dad is maybe a dinosaur, he's still aware of what's going on and he hears me. That's what I would share. Yes, sir.
That's right, Mr. Knight. Show them your dancing video. Show them your dancing video.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for coming. I'm going to be going exiting shortly. You said you're not a parent yet, but I just want to plant the seed in you. One thing I can say that I'm proud of on my kids, both my son and my daughter. My son's 16. He has a part-time job. My daughter's 14. She has her own business. Okay? They both know how to cook. They both know how to wash dishes and wash their own clothes. Nice. And they can both look me in the face and go, Dad, we don't need you to do this because we got our own money.
There you have it.
Beautiful. That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
That's made my day.
All right, let me drop you down so you get your coins. I don't know, some people say. Anyway, Gwen, I think we're at almost that time here, and then we got to let you guys know what's happening next. So we need that little extra 5 minutes. So I'm going to give Gwen, and then we want to talk to every one of you guys and know when you go live so everyone who's here know how to reach out to you. Gwen, you have a final question?
Yes, I have a question. Good evening, ladies. I was just seeing this panel is amazing. You guys are awesome. Before I couldn't chime in because I was driving, but I'm not driving anymore. I reached home safely.
Thank God.
Thank God, thank God, thank God. I'm grateful. So I just wanted to chime in and say, somebody alluded to this in the chat, right? Do you think, I know everybody's saying that there's a shift, right? With the roles, with what they call the gender roles or whatever, gender roles. Do you think that all of these mental health issues are due to people's socioeconomic status or the lack thereof? So do you think that those are some of the factors that contributes to mental health issues, to people being so stressed out that they become physically sick? And then I was listening to when Lanny was speaking and she was saying at least she had a friend. I said, at least you had a friend to call you, because some people, they don't have anybody to call.
That's true.
And what gave me my breakthrough was actually getting to go live on TikTok. And that day that Angie sat with me, Angie, she didn't know me from a can of paint. That woman didn't know me, and she sat with me, and she don't know what that did to me. That changed the trajectory of my life.
Wow.
Just her sitting with me and listening to the music with me. She didn't know me. She didn't know anything about me. She just came and said, I'm going to hold space with you. I'm going to hold space with you. And then the next couple of lives, she proceeded to talk, and she told her testimony about the job. And I said, but me and this lady could connect on this level, because I didn't realize that I was grieving the loss of a job as well. I didn't realize that. And it was just something that was unspoken. So the simple things, the things that you never know whose life you're changing just by, like you said, sometimes it's an unspoken word, or sometimes it's just sitting with that person, because my circle is small, my circle is non-existent. My circle is my family. I had a best friend, my best friend passed away at a young age, and I don't have any more friends after that. And I've taken on her daughter, guardianship of her daughter. That's another stressor for me. So it's like life weigh you down depending on the things that you go through based on life experiences, based on your socioeconomic background. Certain things come up. And it's like, what do you do when you don't have somebody like Lanny to call? Somebody like Lanny had somebody to call her. What do you do when you don't have anybody to call you?
Right.
When you know that there's nobody on the other end of that line calling you to say, are you okay? But you're the one calling and making sure everybody, what are you doing? You're the person that needs to be checked in on.
Dr. Heather, would you like to tackle that first?
Sure.
Okay.
I think that there's a couple different ways that you could interpret that. One would be to be proactive and set up like a support system, whether it's through church or through actually any kind of spirituality.
That's right.
That actually builds up their resilience. but to be proactive about those things and to build in those connections. I will say that I have personally been absolutely amazed by the connections on this platform that I did not expect. That you feel like you've known forever. And I have felt that connection with Angie from day one. She's my girl. But so I think there's that, but there's also then there's crisis lines that you can call. Like if things get really tough. 988 is a nationwide crisis line you can call in the United States, at least. You can call local people as well, depending on where it gets. And I do think that it also is, you've got to, at some level, reach that point for yourself that you want someone to help you. So like that leads a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So you have to be willing and open to accept it.
Thank you.
Great advice.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
I want to interject something real
Thank
quick.
you, Angie. I appreciate you. You don't know the things that you've done. You don't even know.
You're speaking on Angie B73?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. I hear you. Y'all follow Angie B73. Okay. She's a
But I
true
appreciate
engager.
you all for-
Does someone else was going to comment, Shift or Dr. GLK?
This talk was much needed, D'Angelo, and I think you should have a part 2 because women need to hear this.
I swear to you, I'm sitting here just wishing we went live at 9:00.
But I want to add something. I want to add something to Miss Gwen real quick, because you said something valid in speaking to your experience, and I know there's a lot of people out there who feel the same way and may have gone through what you've gone through, but in different ways. And I just say this, speaking for myself. I've been in rooms with million people around me, and I was alone. And then I've been alone, but I wasn't alone.
Yes.
And I say that to say that it doesn't matter what you believe in spiritually, but you're not alone and you'll never be alone. And it's important to build up that spiritual space so that when you don't have someone to turn to, you'll know that you're never alone. I just want to leave you with that.
Yes, you are. That's what it's keeping me. That's what it's keeping me. The fact that I have my mate and do all things. That's where my grounding is. That's what is keeping me, because if it wasn't for God, I would have been dead and gone. That's my saving grace. But for the grace of God, I have to say, but for the grace of God, every single day of my life.
There you go. There you go. God bless you.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, D'Angelo, for bringing this panel. It was much needed. You're saving lives. You're saving lives.
Now, look, I want to say thank you, Gwen. Y'all don't know. I just met Gwen maybe now? It's been about a month and a half, maybe at best. And she happens to live in Brooklyn. I live in Long Island. We're like maybe 20 minutes ride from each other right now, and which is amazing. We're all going to plan. There's a couple other people in the chat. We're going to plan to see each other who are in the area. And to y'all's point, we're building new experiences and family on this platform. And thank you. You've been supporting us, and it's been awesome. And I'm glad that you got something out of it, because our mission is the 3 things, 3 words we live by. Me and this brother over here: educate, support, and inspire. That's what we've been doing since I've known him, the last 20 years. Okay. So I appreciate everybody who's been on this panel. We are going to let you know what's next for next week, but I want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity now to just say something about yourself, because you're all live hosts and people need to know where to find you, things like that. And then we'll start taking you guys down and things like that. So who would like to go first? Anyone like to go first to talk about themselves and where we could find you in your live times and things like that? Dr. Heather, would you like to go first?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so I go live on Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on Saturdays, usually at noon, but like for the next 3 weeks, it'll be at 1 because I have soccer. And during the week, I try to be, and then also like random times, like I'll hop on. I usually try to be a little bit more like casual and interactive during the week, and then on Saturday, it'll be like more of a bigger topic, like anger management or grief, dealing with grief, or like a kind of a bigger topic. So yeah, but then you can DM me or you can email me. I have an email on my bio.
Okay, and your lives are about mental health generally, right? That's
Oh, always.
okay.
Always. Yeah.
All right. So I want everyone in the chat to say thank you to Dr. Heather before we break it down. Just say it in the chat and make sure you follow her. All right. She will follow you back long as this is a reciprocal business. There's a lady I follow on here. She's my guru. Her name is Egypt Star. Y'all going to meet her next month because we're going to bring her on the platform. I always remember her say, people are the currency on the platform. Forget about the currency. The people are the currency. So if you follow her, I'm sure she'll follow you back and she'll support you just like she supported me. Okay.
That's right.
Thank you for your time. And we're definitely going to be, I'll DM you. We'll talk after this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the powerful insight.
Yep. And Shifting, would you like to tell us about yourself?
Sure. I'm Shifting Your Mindset. Shifting Your Mindset came about a year ago this time. I was going through something and I was walking down the sidewalk and I said, I need to shift my mindset. That's all I said, really. That's all I said. And a friend of mine said, you should make that your TikTok thing. And I was like, what? And so here we are today. But I go live every single day, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless there's something catastrophic going on. But every day, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I speak on topics globally, nationally, locally, in order to see how people are thinking. I love dialogues about various topics because I believe that shifting your mindset is a moment by moment willingness on the person's part.
Yes,
so,
it's constant.
Yep, it is every day, all day long. And people can find me, go to my page. I have a website with lots of great material, and you could also email me through my website as well. And I do read direct messages as well.
That's great. When I saw your name, that's why I had to invite you to this podcast when you said shifting your mindset, because I'm all about that. So I loved it, and I appreciate you coming by. And we're definitely gonna have to work with each other on some stuff because that's where I want to do. I'm all about mental health. That's why you see behind me it says mindset is everything. That's my whole thing too. So I appreciate you coming by. You added a lot of value today. I want everyone to go follow her, and please say thank you in the chat to Shifting. I know she's got a long name, so just say thank you Shifting in the chat, y'all, and then follow her and show some love. And also go to her bio because she has 7, you guys, ebooks on this topic. 7. So go support, go look at her books, find something you like. All right. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. And last but not least, it's Dr. GLK. You got to take your mic, take your mute off.
Yeah, let me do that. It has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to be in this space. I'm all about increasing the quality of life for individuals to empower, encourage, elevate, and expand. I randomly do lives, but I normally post the lives that I do. And frequently I do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for fun, some very engaging, stimulating activities so that people can have a place to go and be themselves, be their authentic selves in that space. And I do a lot of clinical wellness lives as well. So I just do the advertising. But I want to say this before I close, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
I want everyone to keep in mind that self-empowerment is not just a moment. It's a movement. A movement that starts in believing in yourself.
Yes.
Walking in purpose, knowing your self-worth, and knowing the vision of your plan.
Yes.
We keep that at the forefront, we can flourish and not get distracted by this thing called life.
Wow.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Powerful.
Yes. And that's why I had to leave you as a closer, because I knew you was going to say something profound. Something profound.
Have a summary, yes.
Yeah. And I want to just say something about her lives. You guys definitely follow her. First of all, say thank you, GLK, in the chat. Show some love, but also follow her. I've been to a couple of her lives. That's why I've been begging for her to come up here. I've been working on her. I've been planting the seeds and planting the seeds. And because honestly, I've been in her lives and she's thorough and she has some very classy lives, you guys. The way they set it up, her team is everything. They're dope. She has some really strong engagers. So if you're in her live, you're going to meet some great people as well. So please stop by, check her out. Trust me, you're going to, what you saw today, if you like what you saw, this is just a taste. Okay, this is just a taste. I'm letting you know right now. And we definitely going to be partnering in the future because it's just a great relationship. So it's someone you definitely want to connect with. All right. Thank you for coming through.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. GLK. Peace and blessing.
Absolutely.
All right. Here we go. And to my nice panel that came up, I want to thank you guys for participating and asking great questions. I hope we're all connected with each other. I know with at least these three, I'm connected. These are the squad right here. These are the moderators that are actually here too. And they're also just strong supporters. It's Liani, it is? Laney. Make sure you connect with all of us. I think we're connected now, right? Me and you?
I think I'm connected with almost every, yeah.
Okay, great.
But yeah.
Yeah, you got some new friends here, okay? Yeah. So you stay connected with us, and we'll make sure to stay connected with you as well and support you with your journey. You go live?
I do go live. Right now, the only scheduled day is Sundays. I'm random throughout the week because I'm just getting started.
Okay.
And basically, I haven't had enough people in the lives to really get the content flowing. But the premise is basically showing people how to, ironically, she was talking about transformation. And if you look at my bio, you'll see that. Like my premise is helping people to make small changes in their life, whether it's through interior design, they're within their own design, as far as career, money, housing, children, all these things that make us who we are, these small changes to make a big impact for an intentional life. I see myself as being the next B. Smith.
Got you.
Wow.
Look, whatever we can do to support you, we'll stay connected. We want to thank you for your time, and you have a nice weekend. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So Des, how did you feel about episode 18?
Oh, man.
Man.
This speaks to the work that we're trying to do. This speaks to the community that we're trying to build, disseminating powerful information that can help individuals, that can touch their lives, that can make them better and stronger. This was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. And like my man Rodney said, I feel the same way. Every week we've had some great, authentic guests come here and share a lot of information and just help people learn about themselves, how to better themselves. And this week was no exception. We had some great panelists, and I'm really excited about the relationships with these people and to continue to help people out there using this platform. It was just awesome. So I think we should talk about what's happening next week as we close. Just give us a couple minutes. We'll let you know next week is our last Mother's Day themed show, and we have a special guest as well coming to close out this whole Mother's Day theme segment we had for the whole month. And her name is Hello Greatness. Look her up on TikTok. She's coming to talk about how to brand yourself on this platform and off this platform. And she is phenomenal. You don't want to miss. If you're trying to be successful in the social media realm, she's done it already. Okay, podcasts, whatever you're thinking about, books, public speaking, all that stuff. On and off the platform, she is a guru at this. And she's coming to share her time to share that with everybody. So it's going to be 9 p.m. though next time. So we have a little bit more time with her. It's going to be 9 p.m. And right now, all you got to do is go to my link. If you go to my link, actually go to my bio, you should see it now. You can register for it. Once you're done registering for it, you'll get a notification so you won't forget to be here. So just go to my bio. You'll see the event for May 22nd. Register so we know you're coming. We like to know you're coming. Then second, this is the last time for you to register so you can be in the raffle. We're giving away gifts on that day. We're giving away a special gift. And I put a clue out in one of my videos earlier.
Yeah, you sure did. You had to spill the beans, but go ahead.
Do I have permission to tell them the clue that I put there?
Don't tell them what it is, but give them a hint.
Okay. The clue is a passport.
Oh,
Okay. Yes.
oh, I'm gonna have to register myself.
The gift we're giving away, I gave you a clue. The clue is a passport. If you have not registered for not one of these events that we've had thus far, and this is our third event, your name won't be in that raffle. All right. So you got this last event to raffle for, to register for. Just go to my link. You'll see it right under my bio, say May 22nd event live. Click on it. There. Now your name will be in the raffle. I'm only taking names up to the night before, Wednesday night. Once I put everything together and I put the raffle together, we're going to do it live so nobody will think I'm cheating. Okay. And we're going to find out who the winner is. Third thing is you got to be present to win as well. All right. So you got to be present for the event. We're not giving away the raffle to the end of the event. Yep. So you got to stay through the whole thing.
So therefore, you got to be in it to win it, and you got to be there or be square.
Exactly. So don't forget, send this out to people. Let everybody know this is the last event. Let's make this super special. All the events were special, right? We saw that, but let's make the ending even more special, you guys. Let's be
going out with a bang. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And then we're going to do it. We're going to do this for Fathers for the month of June. We're not cheating the men on this. So I need all y'all support, all the moderators, all the guests who want to come by and enjoy. Please support us. I appreciate everybody's support. Again, I want to say thank you to the guests. And Des, I'm going to leave you with the last words.
Man, this was powerful. It was so much helpful information. And what it brings me to is our vibrant community that we're building. We're building a community of synergies and energies where each one teach one and we can build up together. And I always believe that collective forces together can do anything. Anything is possible. And as we're building, what we're doing is proving that to be true. For all of these powerful thought leaders, man, this is great. So I just want to send out love and blessings to you all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting us. Some blessings.
Keep smiling, y'all. See you on the next episode of Renaissance Man.
Put on your song. Put on your song. If y'all don't know, that's the song. That's important.
Yeah, that's my song, you guys, because I'm a singer too.
That's right.
But I ain't singing. Keep smiling. Keep smiling till we see you again.
That's right. It's a fantastic episode, man.
Yeah, it's a great episode, bro. I didn't even want it to end. Like, I wish it was a Friday at 9:00. So we could have just went longer. The nuggets that were dropping were so great. You don't want to stop, but people got to go back to their lives.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. As long as we meet them with a little support and inspiration, we did our thing.
Yes, definitely. All right, I'm going to end it.
Brother, peace and blessings.
Okay.